is the gentleman from Georgia, Representative Carter, for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and privilege of representing the 1st Congressional District of Georgia, which includes 2 major seaports, the Port of Savannah, number 2 container port on the eastern seaboard, and the Port of Brunswick, the number 2 roll-on, roll-off port in the country. So very familiar with what we're talking about here and very appreciative of all your initiatives to make sure we're doing everything we can to decrease in emissions. I wanted to ask you, Mr. Felleman, I wanted to ask you about the Port of Seattle, because I know that you mentioned that the port has done quite a few things to decrease emissions and electrification, increasing the efficiency of the diesel engines, even as much as, from what I understand, putting out mussels and oysters to help in carbon sequestration. What a great idea, and what a great initiative. That's wonderful. But what I have a question about is about mandates versus incentivizing, because the Port of Savannah and the Port of Brunswick, the Georgia Ports Authority runs both of them, have done a great job by themselves in making sure that they have decreased emissions and making sure that they have done all of the above and making sure that they're taking care of our environment. And I just, there was an announcement earlier this year that you were investing in technology to improve traffic flow at the terminal. How is that going? Because the port in Savannah is one of the least congested ports in America, which I think makes it very attractive to a lot of the users. The fact that it is the least congested, one of the least congested around.
Well, with all due respect, your ability to have started to outcompete the Port of Seattle makes me reluctant to give you our tricks. But I do very much appreciate your interest. You know, one of the challenges the Port of Seattle has is that we're really embedded into the city. So our last mile is a particular challenge. So that advantage that you have is a less uncongested area is a great advantage. The benefits of getting trucks on appointment is a huge thing. So having smart gates has been something that we've been investing in. And so trucks can actually sit and wait in a parking lot and get called on appointment. So this is a
and that decreases idling time?
Yes. And it's a better condition for the drivers. One of the things we didn't speak to is really kind of the trucking model. For those folks that are lucky enough to be in a fleet, the fleet can make a major investment and amortize it over a long time. The drayage fleet is a independent operator. So these guys, mostly immigrants, very disadvantaged, are only paid per container they move. And so it's greatly in their advantage as well to have a faster turnaround. And all these things that we talk about, the business model of it, anything that saves fuel is good for the bottom line. So this is ultimately everybody's best interest to find ways of doing that. I don't know that, I think the throughput was the primary thing, but I don't know if you have on-dock rail, because that's one of the great efficiencies.
Yes.
That you can move so much more cargo.
Absolutely.
And then the train engines we've heard about are also getting quite a bit cleaner.
Right, and that has been something. And another thing that we've worked on in Georgia is the inland ports. And that has really helped us, where we can rail the cargo to the inland ports and then disperse them out. That's helped with the congestion, and it's also helped with the efficiency of the port as well. I'm, as you can tell, I'm very proud of the job that the Georgia Ports Authority has done. I think they've done an outstanding job. So a lot can be learned there. But my main point I wanted to get at is that, they've done a lot of things on their own without having to be mandated from it. And that's what I'm really proud of and really want to see us do. I hate for us in Washington, D.C. to be mandating everything that has to be done to increase efficiency.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm sorry I missed that point in the first part.
Right.
The fact is that Washington State, and probably you as well, are in attainment. Like, we are not breaking the law yet. As in California, they have to do this if they want to stay in business.
Exactly.
But our goal, elevated self-interest, we don't want to fall out of attainment. So by taking these initiatives proactively before the law requires it, enables us to grow responsibly.
Absolutely. And I think in a much better way.
Yes. So some of these things need some investments federally for innovation to get us to the next level. But as long as we realize that if our future is to serve this greater growing market, we have to take these initiatives before the hammer comes down.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, and thank all of you very much for all of your initiatives, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair